Princess Zara did not look afraid. She stood tall in the human courtroom despite the heavy metal cuffs around her wrists. Her skin shimmered like pearl under the harsh lights. Small dots of light moved under her skin in patterns that matched her thoughts. Her eyes, large and completely silver, took in every detail of the room. The humans stared at her. Some looked scared. Others looked angry. A few seemed curious. Princess Zara had expected this. Humans were still new to the idea that they were not alone in space. Finding out that aliens existed had been one thing. Having an alien princess in their court was another. Lieutenant Olivia Mason watched from her place against the wall. She had been the one to capture the princess. It had not been planned that way. Olivia and her team had been on a simple mission to gather information. They were not supposed to engage with any aliens. They were especially not supposed to bring one back to Earth. But plans change in space. Olivia remembered how it had happened. Her ship had been hiding near an asteroid belt at the edge of Earth's solar system. They were watching for signs of the celestial dominion, the powerful alien empire that had recently made contact with Earth. The humans did not trust these aliens. They wanted to know more about them. Olivia's team had spotted a small ship making repairs in the asteroid belt. Using their long-range cameras, they had been shocked to see the royal markings on the ship. A quick scan confirmed what seemed impossible. A member of the celestial royal family was traveling alone far from their fleet. "It's a trap," Olivia's second-in-command had said. "Maybe," Olivia had replied, "but it might also be our only chance to understand what they really want with Earth." The decision had been made in seconds. Olivia ordered her team to disable the alien ship's engines and communication systems. In the confusion that followed, they had boarded the vessel and found her, Princess Zara, daughter of King Thaxor, ruler of the Celestial Dominion. Taking her had been surprisingly easy. Too easy, Olivia now realized. Now 3 weeks later, the princess stood before a human military court. Earth's leaders had been in a panic since the capture. Some wanted to return the princess immediately and beg for forgiveness. Others saw her as a valuable bargaining chip in dealing with a potentially hostile alien civilization. The strangest part was that the Celestials had not attacked. They had not even demanded her return. King Thaxor had sent only a single message. "The princess stands before your court. By our ancient laws, I cannot intervene. Judge fairly, humans, for how you treat her will determine our future relations." No one understood what these ancient laws meant, but everyone understood the threat behind the king's polite words. The head judge cleared his throat, bringing Olivia back to the present moment. The room fell silent. "Princess Zara of the Celestial Dominion," the judge said, his voice echoing in the large room. "You stand accused of espionage against Earth. Our sensors detected your ship collecting data on our defense systems. How do you plead?" The princess tilted her head slightly. When she spoke, her voice was like music, though the words were perfectly clear. "I was not spying on your planet," she said. "I was running from something far worse than your suspicions." Murmurs filled the courtroom. The judge banged his gavel for silence. "What exactly were you running from?" he asked. Princess Zara looked directly at Olivia before answering. Their eyes met across the room, and Olivia felt a strange sensation, as if the princess was trying to tell her something without words. "The Voidborn," Princess Zara said, turning back to the judge. "They are ancient enemies of all life. They have infiltrated both our civilizations, and they are about to strike." The courtroom erupted in noise. The judge banged his gavel repeatedly. "This sounds like a convenient story to explain your presence in restricted space," the judge said when order was restored. "It is the truth," Princess Zara replied calmly, "and you will see evidence of it very soon." As if summoned by her words, a low rumble shook the building. The lights flickered. People looked around in confusion. "What was that?" the judge demanded. A soldier burst through the doors. "Sir, unidentified ships have entered Earth's atmosphere. They're not celestial. We've never seen this design before." Through the tall windows of the courtroom, the sky was turning a deep, unnatural red. Dark shapes moved against the crimson backdrop. ships with strange, ever-changing forms that hurt the eyes if you looked at them too long. "The Voidborn," Princess Zara said. Her voice remained calm, but the lights moving under her skin had begun to pulse faster. "They are here." Panic erupted in the courtroom. Guards began ushering officials toward the exits. In the chaos, Olivia found herself moving against the flow, pushing her way toward the princess. She didn't understand why, but every instinct told her that the alien royal was the key to whatever was happening. If these new ships were a threat, the princess might be their only hope of understanding what they were facing. Olivia reached the princess just as another explosion rocked the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. Without thinking twice, she reached for the control panel on the princess's restraints and pressed her security code. The cuffs fell away. "Why did you do that?" Princess Zara asked, rubbing her wrists. "Because I think we're about to need each other," Olivia replied. "Tell me what's happening." Princess Zara's silver eyes seemed to look through Olivia, measuring her. "The Voidborn have been manipulating both our species," she said, "pushing us toward war. They feed on conflict and death, and now they've come to harvest what they've sown." Another explosion, closer this time. The window shattered, sending glass flying across the room. Olivia pulled the princess down, shielding her with her own body. "My ship," Princess Zara said urgently when the glass stopped falling. "I need to reach my ship. It contains a weapon that can hurt them." Olivia hesitated only for a second. Then she made a decision that would change the course of two civilizations. "This way," she said, leading the princess toward a side door. "There's an underground passage to the research facility where we're keeping your ship." As they ran from the courtroom, neither of them saw the dark, oil-like substance that had begun to seep through the broken windows, forming itself into shapes that were almost human. Olivia and Princess Zara ran through the dark tunnels beneath the military complex. The emergency lights cast everything in a dim red glow. Above them, they could hear explosions and screams. The Voidborn attack was getting worse. "How much farther?" Princess Zara asked. She moved with surprising speed for someone who had been in restraints only minutes ago. "Almost there," Olivia replied. She tried to ignore the voice in her head telling her she was making a huge mistake. Helping an alien prisoner escape during an attack on Earth could be seen as treason. But something about Princess Zara made Olivia trust her, despite everything. They reached a heavy metal door. Olivia placed her hand on the scanner. The light flashed green and the door slid open. "Welcome, Lieutenant Mason," a computerized voice said. They stepped into a large underground hangar. In the center sat Princess Zara's ship. It didn't look like any spacecraft Olivia had ever seen. It had no visible engines or weapons. Its surface was smooth and pearl-colored, just like the princess's skin. It seemed to pulse with a gentle light, as if it were breathing. "They didn't take it apart," Princess Zara said, sounding surprised. "They tried," Olivia explained, "but the tools wouldn't work on the hull, and anyone who touched it for too long reported strange dreams." Princess Zara smiled slightly. "My ship is alive, Lieutenant. A symbiotic entity bonded to my bloodline. It would not allow itself to be dissected by strangers." A group of scientists stood nearby, staring at them in confusion. "Lieutenant Mason," one of them called out. "What are you doing with the prisoner?" "We're under attack," Olivia replied. "The princess has information that can help us." Before the scientists could respond, the ceiling shook with another powerful explosion. Dust and small pieces of concrete rained down. "The Voidborn are directly above us now," Princess Zara said urgently. "We need to leave immediately." Olivia turned to the scientists. "Evacuate the facility, that's an order." They hesitated, then nodded and began moving toward the emergency exits. Olivia turned back to the princess, who was already walking toward her ship. As Princess Zara approached, a section of the smooth hull seemed to melt away, creating an entrance. She stepped inside, then turned to look at Olivia. "Are you coming, Lieutenant Mason?" she asked. Olivia took a deep breath. This was the point of no return. She stepped forward and followed the princess into the alien vessel. The inside of the ship was even stranger than the outside. There were no controls, No seats, no screens, nothing that looked like the inside of a spacecraft. The walls glowed with the same pearly light as the exterior, and the floor felt soft beneath Olivia's boots. "How do you fly this thing?" she asked. Instead of answering, Princess Zara placed her hand against the wall. The lights under her skin began to pulse in sync with the lights of the ship. The entire vessel hummed with energy. "My ship and I are connected," she explained. "It responds to my thoughts and needs." The wall where they had entered sealed itself, becoming smooth and unbroken once more. A section of the floor in the center of the room transformed, rising up to form something like a couch. "Sit, Princess," Zara instructed. "The first connection can be disorienting for non-celestials." Olivia sat down cautiously. The material felt warm and somehow alive. "I need to know something before we go any further," Olivia said. "Did you let yourself be captured? Was this your plan all along?" Princess Zara's silver eyes met Olivia's. "Yes," she admitted. "I needed to be on your planet when the Voidborn arrived." "Why? And why me specifically?" "The Voidborn have been infiltrating both our governments for decades," Princess Zara explained. "They implant neural parasites in key officials, tiny organisms that influence thoughts and decisions, pushing our civilizations toward conflict." The ship's walls displayed images as she spoke, microscopic worm-like creatures attached to human and alien brains. "My father is infected," Princess Zara continued. "So are many of your leaders. I discovered this truth 6 months ago, but I couldn't act openly. The parasites would have detected my intentions." "So you arranged to be captured," Olivia said, beginning to understand. "Yes, and I chose your ship to find me because your psychological profile showed someone who would question orders if they seemed wrong. Someone who would make the right choice when the moment came." Another explosion, much closer this time, shook the ship. "We need to go," Princess Zara said. She placed both hands on the walls of the ship. The entire vessel began to vibrate. Olivia felt a strange sensation, as if the ship was somehow scanning her body and mind. A thin, glowing tendril extended from the wall toward her. "What is that?" she asked nervously. "The ship wants to connect with you too," Princess Zara explained. "It senses that I trust you. This will allow you to help control the weapon systems. Will it hurt? No. But it will change you. The connection leaves traces in your mind. You will never see the universe quite the same way again." Olivia hesitated, then nodded. "Do it." The glowing tendril touched her temple. Olivia gasped as information flooded her mind. Star maps, weapon systems, the complex language of the Celestials. It was overwhelming but somehow not painful. When it ended, she found she could sense the ship around her, almost like it was an extension of her own body. "Now we fight," Princess Zara said. The ship vibrated again, more intensely. Then it shot upward, tearing through the ceiling of the hangar and the layers of the military complex above it. In seconds, they burst into open air. The sky was chaos. Strange ships filled the air above the city, twisted, impossible shapes that seemed to bend reality around them. They fired weapons that left trails of darkness rather than light. Where these dark beams hit, matter simply ceased to exist, leaving perfect holes in buildings and ground. "Those are void-born ships," Princess Zara explained. "They exist partially, in another dimension, which is why they look wrong to your eyes." Through her new connection to the ship, Olivia could sense targeting systems coming online. She instinctively knew how to use them, as if she had trained with this technology her whole life. "We need to reach their command vessel," Princess Zara said. "It controls the neural parasites." "How do we find it?" "It will be the largest ship, likely positioned above a major population center." Olivia accessed the ship's sensors. Sure enough, she detected a massive anomaly hovering above the city center, a void-born vessel many times larger than the others. "Found it," she said. "But how do we get past all these fighters?" In answer, Princess Zara activated the ship's weapons. Beams of brilliant blue-white light shot from the hull, cutting through the nearest void-born vessels. The twisted ships exploded into fragments that disappeared before they hit the ground, as if they couldn't fully exist in this reality. "Your turn, Lieutenant," Princess Zara said. Olivia focused on the weapon systems she could now feel in her mind. With a thought, she targeted 3 more enemy ships and fired. The blue-white beam struck true, destroying all 3 targets. "I've never seen weapons like this," Olivia said in amazement. "Light-based technology," Princess Zara explained as they flew toward the command vessel, shooting down enemy ships as they went. "The Voidborn exist partially in darkness. Light is their weakness." As they fought their way closer to the command ship, a transmission cut through their communications. A familiar face appeared in the air before them, General Kate Harper, Olivia's commanding officer. But something was wrong. The general's eyes were completely black and her voice had a strange echo to it. "Lieutenant Mason," she said, "you are ordered to destroy the alien vessel and return to base immediately." "She's infected," Princess Zara whispered. "The parasite is speaking through her." "I can't just ignore a direct order," Olivia said, though she made no move to comply. "You must," Princess Zara urged. "Everything depends on it." Before Olivia could respond, the general's image disappeared, replaced by another face. A regal alien male with the same pearlescent skin as Princess Zara, but with gold patterns flowing beneath it instead of silver. "Daughter," the alien king said, his voice cold, "you disgrace our house by aiding these humans. Return to the Dominion at once." "Father," Princess Zara replied, her voice steady despite the pain in her eyes. "You are not yourself. The Voidborn control you." "This is treason," King Thaxer said. His image flickered and disappeared. Princess Zara looked shaken, but she quickly regained her composure. "We must hurry," she said. "They know what we're trying to do now." They pushed the ship to its limits, racing toward the massive command vessel. Enemy fighters converged on them from all directions. Olivia fired the weapons continuously, destroying dozens of ships, but there were too many. "We're not going to make it through their defenses," she said, as the ship shuddered under enemy fire. Princess Zara's face was set with determination. "Yes, we will," she said, "because we have to." The living ship shuddered as another blast from a Voidborn fighter struck its hull. Warning signals flashed through Olivia's mind via her new connection with the vessel. "Hull integrity at 60%, she reported, firing back at their attackers. 3 more enemy ships exploded into darkness. "We need to change tactics," Princess Zara said. She placed her hands on the wall of the ship and closed her eyes. "Hold on." The ship suddenly dived, plummeting toward the ground at incredible speed. Olivia's stomach lurched, but the ship's artificial gravity kept her from being thrown around. Just before they would have crashed into the streets below, the vessel pulled up sharply and darted between 2 tall buildings. The Voidborn fighters followed, but their strange geometry made them less agile in tight spaces. 2 crashed into buildings while others pulled back to regroup. "Good thinking," Olivia said, impressed by the princess's flying skills. "The city buildings will provide some cover," Princess Zara replied. "But we can't stay down here long. Innocent people will be hurt." Through the ship's sensors, Olivia could see humans running in panic below them. The Voidborn attack had thrown the city into chaos. "We need a direct path to the command ship," Olivia said, thinking quickly.
Something they won't expect. An idea formed in her mind. She shared it with the ship, which relayed it to Princess Zara. "That's very risky," the princess said, looking at Olivia with new respect. "But it might work." They flew the ship lower,
nearly skimming the tops of cars as they followed a main street toward the center of the city. The command ship loomed larger now, a massive dark structure hovering above the tallest skyscraper. It looked like a giant black crystal constantly shifting and reforming, impossible angles bending in ways that hurt the human eye. "Get ready," Olivia said as they approached an underground entrance to a parking garage. "This will be close." The ship barely fit as it plunged into the garage entrance. Inside, they navigated through tight turns and low ceilings, the living vessel somehow contracting itself to squeeze through gaps that seemed too small. "Where does this lead?" Princess Zara asked, The parking structure connects to a subway tunnel, Olivia explained. The tunnel runs directly under the building where the command ship is positioned. We can come up right under them, hopefully avoiding most of their defenses. They burst from the parking garage into the wider subway tunnel. Thankfully, no trains were running due to the attack. They flew at high speed through the dark tunnel, the ship's glow illuminating the walls as they passed. "Something's wrong," Princess Zara suddenly said. "I'm detecting movement ahead." Olivia checked the sensors. Something was indeed moving toward them in the tunnel. Many somethings. "Slow down," she warned. The ship reduced speed, just as the tunnel, ahead filled with writhing, dark shapes. They looked almost human but moved in jerky, unnatural ways. Their faces were blank with only a mouth that opened too wide. "Void-born ground troops," Princess Zara said grimly. "They've possessed human bodies." Olivia felt sick. "Those are people from the city." "Not anymore," Princess Zara said softly. "The Void-born completely take over a host. Nothing of the original person remains." The possessed humans began climbing the walls and ceiling of the tunnel, moving like spiders toward the ship. "We can't use the weapons," Olivia realized. "We'll bring down the whole tunnel." "We don't need to," Princess Zara replied. She touched the ship's wall, and a bright light began to glow around the vessel's hull. "Shield your eyes." The light suddenly flashed outward in a blinding pulse. When Olivia could see again, the possessed humans had collapsed to the ground. The dark essence of the Void-born burned out of them. "Are they?" Olivia couldn't finish the question. "Dead?" "No. But they will. Need healing." The light severs the Void-born connection without killing the host. They continued through the tunnel until they reached a point directly beneath the skyscraper. "We need to go up now," Olivia said. "The building's foundation should be right above us." Princess Zara nodded and directed the ship upward. The vessel's front elongated into a drill-like shape that began spinning rapidly. They smashed through the tunnel ceiling and into the concrete foundation of the building. Dust and debris filled the air around them as they tore through floor after floor. Finally, they burst out of the top of the skyscraper, emerging directly beneath the massive Void-born command ship. Before the enemy could react, Princess Zara fired the ship's main weapon, a concentrated beam of pure light that burned a hole in the underside of the command vessel. "Now," she shouted. While they're vulnerable, the living ship shot upward, squeezing through the hole they had created. They found themselves inside a vast, dark space that seemed to stretch impossibly far in all directions, defying the apparent size of the ship from outside. "Non-Euclidean geometry," Princess Zara explained, seeing Olivia's confusion. "The Void-born exist partially in other dimensions. Their ships are bigger on the inside." They flew deeper into the command vessel. Strange, organic structures lined the walls. Occasional flashes of light revealed moving shapes in the darkness, Void-born in their natural form. They looked like living shadows with too many limbs, constantly shifting and changing. "There," Princess Zara said, pointing ahead. "The central node." In the middle of the vast chamber floated a pulsing dark mass the size of a small house. Tendrils of blackness extended from it in all directions, disappearing into the walls. "What is it?" Olivia asked. "The hive mind. It controls all Void-born in this sector, including the neural parasites infecting our leaders." As they approached, the ship suddenly jolted violently. Warning signals flashed through Olivia's mind. "We're caught in some kind of tractor beam," she reported. The ship was being pulled toward a wall of the chamber. The wall opened like a mouth, revealing rows of sharp, crystalline teeth. "They're trying to crush the ship," Princess Zara said. She worked frantically, her hands moving across the walls of the vessel. "I can't break free." Olivia focused on the weapon systems firing at the source of the tractor beam. The shots hit their mark but had no effect. "Weapons aren't working," she said. Princess Zara looked at her with sudden determination. "There's another way, but it's dangerous." "What is it?" "My ship carries a special weapon, a concentrated burst of light energy that can destroy the hive mind. But to use it, we need to be closer, and someone needs to deliver it manually." "Manually? You mean outside the ship?" Princess Zara nodded. The weapon is a crystal that must be placed directly on the hive mind. The ship can create a protective suit for one of us, but it's still extremely dangerous. Olivia didn't hesitate. I'll do it. No, Princess Zara said firmly. This is my mission. I've been preparing for this moment for months, but you're the only one who can fly the ship. If something happens to you, I'll be trapped here. The princess considered this, then nodded reluctantly. You're right. The ship will create the suit and weapon for you. Are you sure about this? I'm sure, Olivia said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. A section of the wall opened, revealing a spacesuit unlike any Olivia had seen before. It seemed to be made of the same living material as the ship itself. Next to it floated a crystal that glowed with intense white light. The suit will protect you from the Voidborn for a short time, Princess Zara explained as Olivia put it on. The crystal must be placed directly on the surface of the hive mind. Once activated, you'll have 30 seconds to get back to the ship before it detonates. Olivia took the crystal, which felt warm in her hand. How do I activate it? It will activate automatically on contact with the hive mind, Princess Zara said. She looked at Olivia with genuine concern. Be careful, Lieutenant. The Voidborn will do anything to stop you. A small airlock formed in the ship's hull. Olivia stepped inside, her heart pounding. The outer door opened, and she found herself floating in the dark space of the Voidborn vessel. The tractor beam still held the ship, but Olivia was small enough to slip through its field. She activated the suit's propulsion system, another feature she somehow knew how to use thanks to her connection with the ship, and flew toward the pulsing hive mind. The darkness around her seemed alive, reaching out with tendrils that tried to grab her. The suit glowed with protective light, burning away any shadows that came too close. As she approached the hive mind, Olivia could feel a pressure in her head, the Voidborn trying to get into her mind. Images flashed before her, eyes, her worst fears, her darkest thoughts. She gritted her teeth and pushed forward. They're trying to distract you. Princess Zara's voice came through some kind of communication system in the suit. Focus on your goal. Olivia pushed away the dark visions and concentrated on reaching the hive mind. She was almost there when a shadow larger than the others formed in front of her, a Voidborn entity the size of a human, but with a shape that constantly shifted and changed. You cannot stop what has already begun, a voice whispered directly into her mind. Your species will destroy each other, as they always do. Not today, Olivia replied, pushing through the entity. Her suit's light weakened the creature, but not before one of its limbs slashed across her leg. Pain shot through her, but the suit quickly sealed the breach. Finally, she reached the hive mind. Up close, it was even more disturbing. A writhing mass of darkness that seemed to absorb all light around it. Olivia collapsed inside the airlock as the ship sped away from the exploding command vessel. Her leg throbbed where the Voidborn had wounded her. The suit melted away, being reabsorbed into the ship's walls. Are you all right? Princess Zara asked, helping her to the center of the ship. I'll live, Olivia said through gritted teeth. Did it work? See for yourself. The walls of the ship became transparent, allowing them to see outside. The Voidborn command ship was breaking apart, great cracks of light splitting its dark surface. Smaller enemy vessels nearby were also disintegrating, as if connected to the same fate as their mothership. The neural parasites should be detaching from their hosts now, Princess Zara explained, both on Earth and in the Celestial Dominion. Olivia nodded, then winced as a fresh wave of pain shot through her leg. She looked down and saw a dark stain spreading on her uniform. You're more seriously injured than I thought, Princess Zara said with concern. She placed her hand on the ship's wall, and a section of the floor transformed, forming a bed-like structure. Lie down. Olivia did as she was told, too weak to argue. The princess examined the wound carefully. The Voidborn left something behind, she said grimly. A fragment of themselves. It's trying to spread. Sure enough, thin lines of darkness were creeping outward from the wound, moving under Olivia's skin like black veins. Can you remove it? Olivia asked, trying to keep her voice steady despite her fear. Princess Zara hesitated. Yes, but the process will be painful, and it will create a permanent connection between us. What kind of connection? A psychic link. My people have the ability to heal by taking some of another's pain into ourselves, but it leaves a trace, a connection that never fully fades. Olivia looked at the spreading darkness on her leg. She didn't have much choice. Do it. Princess Zara nodded and placed her hands on either side of the wound. She closed her eyes and began to sing softly in a language Olivia didn't understand. The sound was beautiful but somehow sad. Light began to flow from the princess's hands into Olivia's wound. The human gasped as intense pain shot through her entire body. It felt like she was burning from the inside out. Through the pain, Olivia became aware of another presence in her mind, Princess Zara. She could feel the alien's determination, her courage, and beneath it all, a deep loneliness that surprised her. Just when Olivia thought she couldn't bear the pain any longer, it began to fade. The darkness retreated from her skin, drawn out by the princess's light. It gathered into a small black sphere hovering above the wound. Princess Zara opened her eyes, which now glowed even more brightly than before. With a final burst of effort, she closed her hand around the dark sphere, crushing it. The blackness oozed between her fingers, then evaporated into nothing. Princess swayed, clearly exhausted by the effort. Olivia reached out to steady her, and as their hands touched, the connection between them flared. For a moment, each could see through the other's eyes, Olivia experiencing the princess's centuries of life among the stars, and Princess Zara feeling the brief but intense emotions of human existence. They pulled apart, both shaken by the experience. Thank you, Olivia said softly. Princess Zara nodded, recovering her composure. Your wound will heal now. She looked out at the destruction of the Voidborn fleet. We should return to your military headquarters. There will be much confusion as people recover from the neural parasites. The ship turned and began flying back toward the military complex where their adventure had begun. As they traveled, they saw the remaining Voidborn ships falling from the sky. Their pilots suddenly disconnected from the hive mind that controlled them. Will they come back? Olivia asked. Eventually, Princess Zara said. The Voidborn we destroyed were only one branch of their species. There are more out there, moving between star systems, looking for civilizations to manipulate and consume. Then, we need to be ready for them. The princess looked at Olivia with newfound respect. Yes, and that will require our peoples to work together, not against each other. As they approached the military complex, they saw that the situation on the ground was still chaotic. Fires burned in parts of the city and emergency vehicles raced through the streets. But the sky was clear of enemy ships. We should approach carefully, Olivia suggested. They might shoot us down before we can explain. Princess Zara nodded and slowed the ship, bringing it to hover above the military complex. She activated the communication system. This is Princess Zara of the Celestial Dominion and Lieutenant Olivia Mason of Earth's Unified Defense Force. She broadcast on all frequencies. The immediate Voidborn threat has been neutralized. We request permission to land and explain the situation. There was a long pause before a response came. This is General Kate Harper, a familiar voice replied, sounding strained but clear. Permission granted, land in the main courtyard. The ship descended gently, touching down in the open area at the center of the complex. Soldiers immediately surrounded them, weapons raised. Ready? Princess Zara asked. Olivia nodded, though her legs still hurt when she stood. Ready? The ship created an opening in its hull. Together they stepped out to face whatever reception awaited them. General Harper stood at the front of the group of soldiers. She looked pale and shaken, with dark circles under her eyes. But the unnatural blackness that had filled them earlier was gone. Lieutenant Mason, she said, her voice hoarse, you disobeyed direct orders. Yes, ma'am, Olivia replied, standing as straight as her injured leg would allow. I did. And in doing so, you may have saved us all, the general continued, surprising them both. When that light wave hit, something came out of me, out of all of us. She gestured to the other officials standing nearby. Many looked similarly exhausted, as if they had all fought an internal battle. The neural parasites, Princess Zara explained. They've been influencing your decisions for months, possibly years. We remember, one of the officials said, shuddering. It was like watching yourself act from a distance, unable to stop. General Harper turned to Princess Zara. Your father has requested to speak with us. He says the same thing happened throughout your empire. Princess Zara's eyes widened. My father is free of void-born influence? See for yourself. The general led them into the building to a room with a large communication screen. On it was the face of King Thaxor. The alien ruler looked much like his daughter, but older, with golden patterns beneath his skin rather than silver. His expression was solemn but clear. The coldness that had been there during their earlier communication was gone. Daughter, he said, his voice rich and warm, you have done what I could not. The ancient laws prevented me from intervening when you stood accused in human courts, but they do not prevent me from thanking you and your human ally for your courage. Father, Princess Zara replied, her voice thick with emotion. I am glad to see you yourself again. As am I, the king said. The Voidborn had been clouding my mind for so long I had forgotten what clarity felt like. He turned his gaze to Olivia. Lieutenant Mason, the Celestial Dominion owes you a debt we can never fully repay. Olivia bowed her head respectfully. I only did what needed to be done, Your Majesty. Indeed, King Thaxor said. And what needs to be done now is to prepare for the future. The Voidborn will return, and when they do, our peoples must stand together. General Harper stepped forward. We're open to discussing an alliance, King Thaxor, but trust will need to be rebuilt on both sides. Agreed, the king said. As a first step, I propose a diplomatic exchange. Representatives from both our civilizations should learn from each other, prepare defenses, share technologies that might help against the Voidborn. A reasonable suggestion, the general replied. We'll need to consult with our full government, of course, but I believe they will agree. Princess, Zara, and Olivia exchanged glances. Through their new connection, each could sense the other's thoughts, hope mixed with caution. If I may, Princess Zara said, addressing both her father and the human leaders, I would like to remain on Earth as the first celestial representative. I have already established a working relationship with Lieutenant Mason, and my ship contains valuable data about the Voidborn that your scientists will need. King Thaxor considered this, then nodded. A wise choice. And Lieutenant Mason, would you be willing to serve as the liaison to my daughter? All eyes turned to Olivia. She felt the weight of the moment, the first official diplomatic position between humans and Celestials. Through their connection, she could sense Princess Zara's hopeful anticipation. It would be my honor, Olivia said. Then it is settled, King Thaxor declared. Let this day mark the beginning of a new chapter for both our peoples, one of cooperation rather than suspicion. As the human and celestial leaders began discussing details of the alliance, Olivia and Princess Zara stepped away to a quiet corner of the room. Do you think it will work? Olivia asked quietly. This alliance? It must, Princess Zara replied. Neither of our civilizations can face the Voidborn alone. Olivia nodded, then smiled slightly. So, I guess we'll be working together from now on. It seems so, the princess said, returning the smile. Does that concern you? Not at all, Olivia replied honestly. Though I am curious about something. What's that? This connection between us. How strong will it become? 6 months had passed since the Voidborn attack. Earth was still rebuilding, but the alliance with the Celestial Dominion had brought unexpected benefits. Celestial technology had helped repair the worst of the damage, and human innovation had impressed the aliens with its adaptability. Olivia stood on the balcony of the new Joint Defense Headquarters, watching as human and celestial ships practiced maneuvers together in the clear blue sky. Her leg had healed, though a faint silver scar remained, a permanent reminder of her encounter with the Voidborn. She felt a familiar presence before she heard footsteps. The connection between her and Princess Zara had indeed grown stronger. Over the months they had worked together. Sometimes Olivia could sense the princess's emotions from across the city. "They're improving," Princess Zara said, joining Olivia at the railing. She wore a combination of celestial and human clothing, her traditional silver robes adapted with practical elements from Earth fashion. The effect was striking. "They are," Olivia agreed, "though we still have a long way to go before we're ready for the Voidborn's return." "The latest intelligence suggests we have time," Princess Zara said. "Perhaps years." The destruction of that hive mind was a significant blow to their network. Olivia nodded, taking comfort in that fact. The past months had been busy as she and Princess Zara worked to prepare both civilizations for the inevitable return of the enemy. They had faced resistance on both sides, humans who distrusted aliens, celestials who looked down on what they considered a primitive species. But progress was being made. "The new detection system is online," Olivia reported. "It should give us early warning if they approach through normal space. And my people have strengthened the dimensional barriers around both our worlds," Princess Zara added. "It will be more difficult for them to slip through from their realm to ours." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the ships above. Through their connection, each could sense the other's thoughts, pride in what they had accomplished, concern for the challenges ahead, and something more personal that neither had yet put into words. "The court reconvenes tomorrow," Olivia said, finally. Princess Zara nodded. "Yes, the final decision on my status." Despite the alliance between their peoples, there had still been those who demanded that Princess Zara face consequences for her illegal entry into Earth's space. The event that had started everything 6 months ago. A special international court had been established to determine her official status. "Are you worried?" Olivia asked. The princess shook her head. "No. Whatever they decide, I have accomplished what I came here to do. Our peoples are working together. The Voidborn's plan to turn us against each other has failed." "Still," Olivia said, "I'd rather not have to break you out of another cell." Princess Zara smiled at that. "Once was quite enough, thank you." A chime sounded from inside the building. Olivia checked her watch. "The final briefing before tomorrow's hearing, we should go." They walked together through the headquarters, drawing looks from both human and celestial staff. Their partnership had become symbolic of the alliance, a human soldier and an alien princess working side by side against a common enemy. The briefing room was already filled with officials from both species. General Harper nodded to them as they entered. The general had become one of their strongest supporters after recovering from the neural parasite's influence. "Lieutenant Mason, Princess Zara," she greeted them. "We were just discussing tomorrow's proceedings." "Any updates?" Olivia asked, taking a seat at the large table. "Nothing substantial," replied the general. "The court seems inclined toward a positive ruling, but there are still those who want to make an example of the situation." "Politics," Princess Zara said with a slight smile. "Some things are universal across species." The briefing covered the expected procedures for the next day. Princess Zara would make a final statement, then the court would deliver its ruling. Security would be tight, as there had been threats from fringe groups who opposed the alliance. As the meeting concluded, King Thaxor's image appeared on the large screen at the end of the room. The celestial ruler had become a regular presence at these briefings, though he remained in the Dominion, governing his people. "Daughter," he greeted Princess Zara. "Lieutenant Mason, I trust preparations for tomorrow are complete?" "Yes, father," Princess Zara replied, "though I still believe your presence would strengthen our position." The king's expression grew solemn. "You know I cannot attend. The ancient laws prevented you from intervening when I stood accused," Princess Zara finished for him. "I know, but tomorrow is a ruling, not an accusation. The distinction is meaningful to you, But not to our laws, King Thaxor said. However, I have sent an envoy with a message for the court. It should arrive by morning. This was news to everyone in the room. Olivia and Princess Zara exchanged glances. What kind of message? Olivia asked. One that I hope will help them see. The importance of looking forward, not backward, the king replied cryptically. Now I must attend to other matters. Good luck tomorrow. His image disappeared, leaving them wondering what the king had planned. After the briefing, Olivia and Princess Zara walked to the landing pad where the princess's living ship waited. Over the months, the vessel had become a common sight around the headquarters, though it still fascinated human scientists who were studying its biological technology. Would you like to come up? Princess Zara asked as they approached the ship. I have something to show you. Olivia nodded, curious. The ship recognized them both now, creating an entrance as they approached. Inside, the living vessel hummed with energy, its lights pulsing in a pattern that matched Princess Zara's own bioluminescence. The princess led Olivia to the center of the main chamber. Computer, display Project Phoenix, she commanded. The air before them shimmered and a holographic image appeared, a ship unlike any Olivia had seen before. It had the organic curves of celestial design combined with the practical functionality of human engineering. What is this? Olivia asked, walking around the hologram to see it from all angles. A new class of vessel, Princess Zara explained, designed by both our peoples, specifically to fight the Voidborn. It combines your weapon systems with our living ship technology. Olivia studied the design with growing excitement. This could work. The adaptability of your ships with the firepower of ours. Exactly. And it requires both a human and a celestial to pilot it, a true symbol of our alliance. Olivia looked up from the hologram to meet Princess Zara's silver eyes. Is that why? You're showing me this because you want us to pilot the first one? The princess nodded. If the court rules favorably tomorrow and if you're willing. There's no one else I would trust with such a mission. Through their connection, Olivia could sense there was more to the request than just practical considerations. The bond between them had grown into something neither had expected, a friendship that transcended their different species and perhaps something deeper. I'd be honored, Olivia said simply. Princess Zara smiled, the lights beneath her skin pulsing brighter for a moment. Good, then let us hope tomorrow goes well. The next morning, the courtroom was packed with officials, journalists, and representatives from both human nations and celestial colonies. Olivia sat in the front row as Princess Zara took her place before the panel of judges. The head judge, a stern woman named Diane Lane, called the court to order. Before we hear Princess Zara's final statement, we have received a communication from King Thaxor of the Celestial Dominion that he has requested be read into the record. This caused a stir in the courtroom. A court official stepped forward with a small crystal device, standard celestial communication technology. When activated, it projected a holographic image of King Thaxor, regal in his formal attire. Esteemed members of the Earth Court, the recording began. I address you today not as a king, but as a father. The ancient laws of my people prevented me from intervening when my daughter stood accused in your courts. These same laws are the foundation of our civilization, and they have a purpose beyond mere tradition. The king's image seemed to look directly at Princess Zara as he continued. What you may not know is that these laws were established after our first encounter with the Voidborn thousands of years ago. They were designed to prevent hasty actions during times of conflict, to ensure that justice is not corrupted by fear or anger. My daughter understood these laws better than anyone. She knew that by allowing herself to be captured, she would create a situation where I could not intervene, where she alone would bear the responsibility for her actions. This was not a rejection of our ways, but the highest fulfillment of them. The courtroom was silent as the king's words sank in. The ancient laws also speak of redemption through service. King Thaxor continued. Princess Zara has served both our peoples by revealing the Voidborn threat and helping to defeat their first attack. I ask you to consider this service when you make your ruling today. The hologram flickered and disappeared. The head judge looked thoughtful as she turned to Princess Zara. Would you like to make your final statement now, Princess? Princess Zara stood tall, her silver eyes scanning the courtroom before settling on Olivia for a brief moment. What my father did not tell you, she began, is that there is another ancient law among my